Hello, this video will provide you an overview of the user options page for Cisco Unified Communications Manager version 9.0. To get to this page, the web URL is the IP address for your Cisco publisher /UCM user. So I'm already here, so I'm just going to enter my username, password. And those of you familiar with the 8.x version of Communication Manager and below, you'll notice that this user page is significantly different from what you're used to. Now, just to take a quick overview of this home page, you can see it's the home page because this dark blue stripe is over the home portion for the menu. If we look on the left side, you'll see these devices that are associated with the user. And in my case, I have 3 devices that are associated with me. I've got this first one, which is a device profile for extension mobility when I log into a phone. The second one is just a 7961 model phone. And the last one is a client services framework device, which is used for mobile devices and soft phones. Now, the names here are kind of cryptic, and I'll show you when we get to the phone settings menu how to change that into something that makes more sense for you. Also, if we look up here at the top where the username is, if I just hover, you see I can change my password or my PIN for the phone or download plugins if there are plugins available. So for example, if I want to change my password, I would just go to new password and enter a password and do it again. Say OK, and you can see it was successfully saved. Now, on the main portion, the right portion here of the screen, are the options that I can change on the home page. So the first one is call forward all. So you can see that my line is 2020 that that's associated with, and that's because on the left side I have it chosen over here. And it's associated with my device profile. So I'm just going to change the device profile and you'll see the same information here. So I'm going to call forward all to my home phone number, which is 888-222-4444. Now, I also have been given the choice of voicemail. So if it's voicemail you want everything forwarded to, you can just click here. Or if you wanted to, you can enter in another phone or cell phone, whatever you choose to have the call forwarded to. The next option on this page is alternate numbers. This is used for Reach Me Anywhere features, which is also known as single number reach. And what happens here is, in this example, we have a home phone and we have a cell phone listed. And you can see Reach Me Anywhere is checked for both of those. So if somebody called me at my work number, extension 2020, the Communication Manager would extend the call out to both my home phone and my cell phone. Now let's say for some reason I didn't want it to go to my cell phone. I would uncheck the Reach Me Anywhere box, and now when somebody called 2020, it would only ring my home phone. Now under Actions on the right hand side, all the menus, well, more of the menus have these same icons. The pencil is the edit to change the information, and the red X is to delete the entry. Okay, so down at the bottom here under phone button configurations, this is where we can add speed dials or service URLs. So you can see in the upper left here we have the extension mobility profile selected. That profile has a directory number of 2020 assigned to line 1. Line 2, there's no directory number associated with it. And then lines 3 and 4 are configured for speed dials, and line 5 is for a service URL. And all this is configured by your administrator, so you don't set this up. The administrator sets it up for you. But you can enter this information. So I'm going to enter a speed dial number 1, and I'm going to show you one of our new features with Communication Manager 9.0. It's called pauses and speed dials. So for example, if you enter a lot of conference calls during the work day, you might want to enter the phone number with the PIN to get in these conference calls. So the way you do that is you enter the phone number for the call. So I'm going to enter 866-333-4444. Then the commas add pauses during the dial for the other end to answer and ask you for the PIN, and you vary the commas depending on the length you need of pauses. And I'm going to enter my PIN, which is 987654321. Okay, button label, I'm going to call this my daily ops meeting, and I'm going to save it. Now the bottom right, again, successfully saved. And when you look at your phone, it'll take a few seconds, but it will update your phone. This action updates your phone automatically for you, so you don't have to do anything, and the administrator does not have to do anything. Okay, speed dial number 2, I'm going to add one here, and I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to select enter speed dial from contact. Now I already have some contacts in my list, so I'm just going to use the drop down, and I'm going to use Bob Jones here. And Bob has 2 phones listed in his contact information, and I'm going to pick his home phone, and I'm going to label it B. Jones and save it. Okay, successfully saved, and I'm done. So I've just added 2 speed dials that I had available on my extension mobility profile. Alright, so let's go to contacts. This is your own list of contacts for the phone, and you can see I've populated some contacts in here. You can have several hundred contacts. And if we look at, for example, let's look at first Bill Black. So Bill, first name, last name, nickname. Sometimes it might not be a person, it might be a service or a company, so you might want a nickname instead of first and last. Speed dial is a green check because I have Bill entered as a speed dial. With this new version, I can have up to 199 speed dials in my contact list. So what that allows you to do is to easily add them on the home page as speed dials, or for example on the 9971 phone, when you go off hook, you'll see a speed dial soft key appear. You can press the soft key, enter in the speed dial, and in Bill's case, if I hover right here, you'll see his speed dial number is 130. So I hit the speed dial soft key, I enter 130, and it will dial his number, which is 1000. You can see that right here. So that's why you'd want to make somebody a speed dial in your contact list. You can see down below here that Jim Smith, for example, is not a speed dial. He's just a contact I wanted in my list. So they don't have to be speed dials. Now the next icon, if you come over here, is the phone, and this is the ability to dial out of this contact list. So what I want to do is I want to find a particular contact. This is it. Okay, so I'm going to dial Jane from my contact list. It says call contact. I click on this, and the web dialer pops up. Now you can see that was the speed dials already pre-populated, 1030. My calling device, I have a choice of extension mobility the 7961 phone or the client services framework. This is my soft phone. It's my Jabber phone. So I'm going to leave it extension mobility. I want to call from my extension mobility, and I'm going to just dial her. So I hit the dial button and it rings, and I've set it up for auto answer, so it's already answered. And I just hang it up and we're done. Now also, if you take a look at how about let's look here at this at Bob Jones. He's got another icon. He's got an email icon or mail. What this allows me to do is to click on him and send him a mail message from the user page. That's kind of handy if you want to send off a quick email. And then of course you have the ability to edit and to delete. So I'm going to show you how to add a new one. So we just click on add, and first name we're going to add Barney Rubble. This nickname is going to be BR, and this is how you get the envelope. Under actions, we're going to say BRUBBLE at google.com. His work number is 5522. I'm going to make him a speed dial, and you can see there's a total of 199, so I'm going to make him 195. I'm going to show you the speed dial label. Now the program automatically populates this stuff, so I could say Barney's work phone, or if I don't like that I could just say BR phone. Doing OK. Successfully saved, and there's Barney Rubble. So that's how you do the contacts. Now we're going to go up and take a look at directory. Now this is a directory that's in Communication Manager. It could also be synced from Active Directory if your administrator has set that up. So this could be quite an extensive list of names here. And because of that, you have a feature over here to the right. Well, you have this drop down box here showing all, there's some filtering capabilities here. I'm going to show you the quick filter, which is this one. And all it does is going to add the information up here. So we have boxes, search boxes basically under each column. So if I want to list only extensions that start with, let's say 10, I put that in there, and there it limits my list. So if I have a huge list, I can shorten it quite a bit. Or you could do it by the last name, right? So if I wanted to just list the, that's the ID. If I want to list the names that only started with J, there you go. So you get the idea. Okay. Now if you look over here in the directory to the actions column, you see a different icon. You see this person with a green square and a plus. That's a contact that's a person that's not in my contact list. They're in the directory, and I have the choice from this menu to add them to my contacts. So I'm going to pick this Joe Smith, click on add contact. His information is already populated. I have a choice here. I can add a speed dial to him or his email that wasn't populated in the directory if I want to. In this case, I'm not going to add anything. I'm just going to say OK. Alright, so that's Joe Smith for the directory. So if I go back to my contacts, it should show me Joe Smith here. There he is, right there. And you can see he's not a speed dial either. So it changed him from a user in the directory to now he's part of my contact list. Line settings. Okay, so you can see at the top here I'm selected at line 2020, and that's because over here I'm using my device profile, my extension mobility device profile. That's where the 2020 comes from. Now this information is typically all populated from the administrator, but you have options here to change it if you would like to for some reason. Like when the line is busy, send calls to voicemail. Since this is checked, that's what's going to happen. If you don't want that to happen, you uncheck it. Most people would like that, so I'm going to recheck it. This one, when there's no call coverage, send calls to. Now there's nothing in here, so we could say, make up a phone number, 777-888-9999. Okay, so you can see this first section is for all internal calls on line 2020. The next section is for all external calls, right? Internal call is, desk to desk in your business. External, PSTN, public switch telephone network coming into your company. And you can change these also. The next section is for voicemail notification. Okay, so voicemail, by default here we've turned on the message waiting light. So when we get a voicemail, we want to make that indicator on the handset turn red. That's why that's checked. Now you could also have it display a prompt on the phone. If I wanted to do that, I would check this. And the last choice you have is play a stutter dial tone when I use the phone. Some people like that. Typically you see this in maybe a third-party phone or possibly a analog phone. And last you have logging. So you have the choice, if you don't want missed calls logged on your phone, you can uncheck that and it won't log when people call you and you don't answer. So I just hit save to save my changes. That was successfully saved. Phone settings. Now this is where I talked about before, where these names don't really make sense for you. So in this case, I'm going to change this to extension mobility profile. I'm going to save that. Okay, that makes a little more sense to me. Now this next phone, I'm going to change this name. This is the phone that I have at home with my CVO router. When I'm at work, I just sit down at a desk and I log in. That's why I don't really have a desk phone listed here. But my 7961 is my home CVO phone connected to the VPN. And I'm going to say CVO phone and save it. Okay, that makes more sense to me than that other number, that long name it had. And this last one, this is for my Cisco Jabber client, so I'm just going to call it Jabber. I'm going to save it. Okay, now I've got three names that make sense to me, so I know when I click on this one, I know that's my JabberSoft phone. And if I go to the home page, I can see I do have Reach Me Anywhere turned on, and I only have one line associated with my JabberSoft phone. Okay, so I'll go back to phone settings. That's basically what phone settings are for, to change that name to something that makes sense to you. Okay, phone services. This is if your administrator has configured phone services that you might want to enable on your phone. So let's add one. So we're going to say add new, and then we're going to look under service name, the drop down. In this case we have intercom calls, extension mobility, and the personal address book service. So I'm going to say let's do intercom calls, and I'm going to select OK, and it was successfully saved. So when I am on my Jabber client, it will show that I have the service of intercom calls. I can select that on my client, or if I want it on my extension mobility profile, I could do the same here. Well, you can see my extension mobility profile, I already subscribed to two services and they're already on there. So that's what phone service menu is for. And that's the quick overview of the new user page for Cisco Unified Communication Manager 9.0.